What is up, everybody? Aaron the Dog back with breakdown number 2 of 2 on this Thursday, July 15th. We are here with Bryan Pooh Bear Battle of the Ultimate Fighter, soon to be of another organization, hopefully, we're talking about. But for now, he is my co-host here for the UFC Breakdown shows until we're breaking down his fights. How you doing, Bryan?
I'm doing good, man. And listen, my man Aaron the Dog, he's doing 2 breakdowns in one day. It's like if you're not on the hype train yet, like get on the hype train. You know what I'm saying?
Did a Bellator breakdown yesterday. Doing another LFA for the LFA on Sunday tomorrow. And we do the damn thing. I gotta look at my hair, so we are going with backwards hat for the rest of the day. Because I don't have that kind of confidence.
Your hair look beautiful. Your hair look
beautiful.
Thank you. I don't care what anyone else says.
Yeah. Thank you. I love the way you lie. Just stand there and watch me burn. Super excited. There's never a card I'm not going to be excited about, so I guess that's going to be repetitive. But UFC 31 is what we're here to break down. Islam Makhachev taking on Thiago Moises. Originally, Max Holloway was supposed to be on this card against Yair Rodriguez. So
that makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think this is the worst replacement bout. I think that both these guys with a win shoot up into that top 15 area. Thiago Moises was talking about in his interviews how he was very happy to take this fight against Islam Makhachev. It's a huge name outside of the top 15 that's worth essentially 4 wins of unranked lightweight opponents. I mean, he's completely right. With 3 wins in the UFC, most people don't know who Thiago Moises is. So, and a win on the Contender Series.
And you're not just saying words, because I'm one of those people. I really I was pleasantly surprised when I looked up Thiago leading up to this show. I was like, oh, wow, this guy's a real deal. And that just goes to show you how deep these UFC divisions are getting when you have real deal fighters like Thiago.
And he's only 26 too, but yeah, we'll definitely talk about that more. But I do think it's still a very interesting main event. And throughout the card, this is a card where I think you look at it originally and it seems a little predictable, and that means that there's 1 or 2 spots here that are going to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Gilbert Burns us, maybe Dreskis Duplessis versus Trevin Giles. We were feeling great about that, but your hands are there for a reason. They're not to be next to you as you're trying to move out of the way of punches, but they're there to be there when you're not ready for that punch that's coming. So, I mean, you play with fire, you get burned. Trevin was looking great up until then, and I'm going to continue to fade Duplessis for a very long time. So,
man, I mean, that was I don't want to get stuck on this one, but that was
right.
It was one of those shocking things where it's like, yo, it's MMA, man. Anything can happen.
It's with MMA, the wrong guy wins 20% of the time, and easily, I don't mean to sound disrespectful here, but Giles was the better guy for the first 8 minutes of that fight, 9 minutes, but it doesn't matter. This is why it's the greatest sport in the world also. Super excited about this card. There's definitely a variety of stakes. There's some pink slip fights. There's some potential contenders fights. There's some opportunities for some guys who maybe people haven't heard of. So, I think this is equally as important as any card, but I'm looking forward to it. We got some interesting middleweight matchups, which I always like hearing from Bryan on. So these are just whenever I'm looking at middleweights now, I think, well, when would Bryan get to face a guy like this? If I'm thinking it, you probably are, but you're not going to be facing either one of these guys anytime soon for multiple reasons. Multiple reasons. 1, they're 265-pound division guys. For 2, one of these guys is going to be probably fired after this fight. We've got Rodrigo Naciomento taking on Alain Boudoir, the Frenchman who I'll just get these out of the way now because this is what every single commentator will bring up at some point. He trained with Francis Ngannou a long time ago. He used to fight in open weight in Ryzen, so he'd fight at like 205 sometimes, and then other times heavyweights, but it was kind of all over the place. He didn't exactly have a great start to his UFC career. He was matched up against Tom Aspinall, however. So, I mean, we know how good Tom Aspinall has become now, but he was knocked out by him in a minute. To get into the UFC, he faced Todd Stout, a 9-4 guy, won by disqualification. The disqualification was that Todd Stout failed a marijuana drug test. So instead of it being a no contest, it got switched to a win for Boudoir. And that's what got him into the UFC. Before that, he had a knockout of 0-2 Yuto Nakajima. Before that, he was knocked out by Dalcha Lambucha at heavyweight. That's a guy who now fights at middleweight. So, yeah, I'm not loving what I'm seeing out of Boudoir. A win over a 6-11 guy, a 0-0, 4-3, a 205 win over a 15-9. Just very unimpressive route to getting into the UFC. He's been off since October of last year. This fight was supposed to happen on the 22nd of May, and the UFC was just bound and determined. They're like, we have to have Rodrigo Naciomento fight Alan Boudoir. Put it in July, right after the big pay-per-view. Whatever. So here we are. Rodrigo Naciomento. So far, I am 0-2 picking Rodrigo Naciomento fights. So there's that. On a one-fight losing streak, he lost to Chris Daukaus in his second fight in the UFC. He defeated Dontel Mays in his debut. Basically, Naciamento, a big jiu-jitsu guy. Most of his wins coming by submission. It's just all about if he can get the takedown, which I believe on a 2-0 natural light heavyweight in Boudoir, he should be able to. So unless Naciamento has no chin, I mean, Daukaus has pretty good power, so I'm going to give Daukaus the credit there. Unless he gets caught early, I see him just Naciamento all day. Submission somewhere inside the first 2 rounds.
No, I'm kind of with you on this one. Allen, he looks like he's got some like nice technical striking. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't really translate over completely very well. You know what I'm saying? Because heavyweights in the UFC don't really play that game unless you really throw something that's really gonna like make them intimidated. These guys are here for one reason and one reason only. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you can't knock out at heavyweight, if you don't got heavyweight power, then you're not going to get very far in the UFC. You know what I'm saying? We've seen guys with knockout power drop divisions before. I just don't think watching Allen fight that he's going to be in the UFC very long. I think this is a good fight for Rodrigo. I think he gets the W. I don't even really, kind of like you said, I don't really see this being much of a fight unless he gets caught with something early. But even Rodrigo, like his striking, you can see that even getting better and cleaner, even though it's not like beautiful by any stretch of the imagination. It's very it's solid for the heavyweight division. It'll get him past our boy Allen. So yeah, I got Rodrigo winning. I don't want to sound like a copycat at you. I'll go submission first round.
I mean, this is just one where Naciamento is not all of a sudden going to become a striking guy, in my opinion. He's got a pretty clear route to victory.
Very clear route to victory.
Yeah, so I think betting Rodrigo by anything besides submission is kind of ridiculous, especially when the price on him is -350. So you can get him for -110 by submission. That would be my play on Rodrigo, -110. If you want to go round hunting, you can. Second round finish would be at +450 also. So I think those two are
definitely see that happening. I could definitely see him taking him down and finishing him the first.
Yeah, round. It's plus money for the first and second round, but either way, we're both on Naciamento. We both got this submission. So we'll move on. That's not the highest level fight there. Loser is leaving town. no doubt about it. So, yeah, we'll move on to the next fight here. We're at the 125 division. Malcolm Gordon is getting another chance in the UFC. This is crazy to me. Taking on the lesser Figuereto brother and Francisco Figuereto. Originally, this one kind of sucks just because originally this was supposed to be Jimmy the Brick Flick spot. Super happy for him. He's writing a book and hopefully happy with retirement. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough to see here for sure. But either way, we go on, and now Francisco Figueredo definitely gets an absolute break in getting a guy who cannot take a punch. And I mean that quite literally in Malcolm Gordon. His first two fights in the UFC, and let me just go over those for you because I've been talking probably longer than his fights. His first fight against Albazi actually lasted the whole first round before he got dominated and triangled. So, yeah, triangle in the UFC, never a good look, but, you know, it happens. Albazi's super talented as well. So then the Sumanjari, tough second matchup, but he was knocked out in 44 seconds. It was like the first punch that landed straight on him. He kind of just crumbled. Francisco Figueredo does not hit like his brother. That's the first thing I just want to say. He hits nothing like his brother. We saw in the Jerome Rivera fight, Jerome Rivera was able to go the distance. Jerome Rivera is pretty punchable. Was obviously finished by that weird choke by Zhalgas Zumagulov. But, yeah, we were both on Zhalgas on that one. Most people were. Yeah. And, yeah, with Malcolm Gordon, he's got a very tricky submission game. I will say that much. He's got some decent wins on the regional scene. If he can maybe extend Francisco's gas tank and get into some scrambles, I could see him maybe snatching up a submission. But other than that, I don't see how I can pick a guy who appears to not be able to take a punch. I just think, you know, even on the feet, Malcolm's tricky, but it's when he gets hit, he gets hurt. So I'm not betting this one heavy at all. I've seen the line on Francisco Figueredo. I am going with Figueredo, but I do not trust him at all at a minus 310 line. But it's more fading Malcolm Gordon here. So I would assume Francisco gets it done inside the distance, but he couldn't finish Jerome Rivera, so maybe not.
Yeah, this fight, it's really interesting because, you know, Francisco, you know, obviously he's not, you know, his brother, you know what I'm saying? He's not the god of war. But dude, he's a really good fighter. He's really solid, and I think he's just better than Malcolm in every aspect of the game. I think if he takes it down, he's better than him on the ground. I mean, you know, as you see, Malcolm, he has a history of getting submission victories. I don't think he submits Francisco in this fight. And yeah, striking wise, even if Francisco doesn't knock him out, you know what I'm saying, I do think his striking game is overall cleaner. I think he's just going to score more. You know, kind of like you said, I mean, there's nothing really Malcolm has done in any of his fights in the UFC to kind of really warrant him being in the UFC. And so I think a loss like this to, you know, even though Francisco hasn't lost in the UFC yet, I don't really think, you know, if he loses this fight, I think this is a way to get Francisco a win and also give them a little bit more of an excuse to.
Well, the thing is, like they've been the UFC's been letting these guys fight out their 4-fight, you know, contracts. I mean, Rivera lost 4 fights in the UFC because he had a 4-fight contract. So they're not. I don't think they're too worried about having him. I think they want a spectacular win for Francisco here, and. I mean, he's got the opponent to do that. So if he can't do it here, we're going to learn about Francisco. Minus 310 is ridiculous. I just don't really even think it's worth betting. Maybe the under 1.5 or under 2.5, I should say, because in case there's a freak finish from Malcolm Gordon, because I can't see Malcolm Gordon piecing together a decision, but that probably leaves it for a Francisco decision. So why bet this fight? There's like 50 fights this weekend between Bellator, LFA, the 2 LFAs, the UFC's like, you can let this Malcolm Gordon, Francisco Figuereto fight go, in my opinion.
For sure.
Next
looking
fight,
at that picture of Francisco, just it throws me off every time. It's like looking at a weird edit of
yeah, it's like we have Davidson Figueredo at home.
yeah, it's fucking. It's
Like,
just a funny. It's just like it's. I'm so used to looking at Davidson, like looking at that. He's just like a little bit darker.
Dark Davidson.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny.
He's a little darker, a little weaker,
a little bit less flashy hair. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and way less flashy like MMA game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all due respect to whoever wins that fight, but those first two fights are, not the highest level, I'll say.
Yeah.
This next fight, I'm pretty excited for this fight though.
Same.
Anderson Dos Santos versus Miles Johns. Miles Johns had, kind of had a little bit of a rise as he was undefeated, and then he lost the fight, and a lot of people really seem to jump off the Miles Chapo John bandwagon. So far, he's got one fight that he's coming off that one fight against Kevin Natividad, where and with that said, I think that we're going to take a break from our from our breakdown show. Bryan, I got a little surprise for you. I got a little surprise for our viewers. This is mixed martial arts. This is a mixed martial arts channel.
Yes, it is.
And part of mixed martial arts is when you use these right here with nothing on them, but maybe a little bit of reps. We got a star in the building. Miss Taylor Starling, live from Miami.
Is that my dear friend?
Your gangster homie. What's up?
My battle buddy?
Yes, battle buddy. You said that so sweet.
I'm so happy to see you, man.
I know. I can't wait to. I want to punch you on Sunday.
Oh man,
I seen your pictures. I was so happy. I was like, look at Taylor doing media for Bear.
Taylor, turn your phone to the side so we can see a full. There we go. It's your first time on an interview, right? There it is. There's the beauty. How you doing? Taylor Starling for those unattributed here. Bare Knuckle FC next week is it in Miami?
It's in Tampa.
It's in Tampa. Okay, you're just in Miami this week, kind of doing what are you doing down in Miami?
Honestly, I took this trip on less than 24 hours notice. Bare Knuckle was like, come down. We got you a ticket. You got to be here tomorrow. So I flew in. I leave tomorrow at 6 a.m. So it was a real quick trip. We actually are doing, it's called the NFT fan experience. So I got to go make like an avatar, and like it's going to be like for a video game. I'm going to have my own little like figure.
Hey.
And for the fans, like it's going to be cool because when you buy my fight, you can pay like an extra $9 and like get the whole experience with me and like get like a custom avatar of me. I don't know.
That's wild. So are they doing like VR? Are they doing like VR stuff?
Yeah.
Okay,
And then you can like pay to like be in the corner with me. So like it's kind of cool. It's like like a whole experience where you get to like follow me personally. I'm kind of nervous about it because I say fuck a lot, and
you do. And indeed. So does your corner man.
And he says fuck a lot, so it's just gonna be a whole lot of fucks.
But yeah, it's maybe an explicit corner, but if you're tuning into a bare knuckle corner looking for church hymns, I guess you're kind of in the wrong spot. Do not come to Taylor's corner. But seriously, thank you for making the time to come on. Watching kind of the last 6 or however many months it's been since the fight of the year, in my opinion, which is you versus Clarissa. That is still my fight of the year of any combat sport. So
I gotta top it next week.
Right, exactly, because you're about to be on the top of the card. It's funny though, because we often see, when we break down these UFC cards, we're like, yeah, this is the main event, but this is the main event. And when you're at these media, I'm like, I get it, like this page thing is the main event, but
fuck that. She ain't the main event.
It doesn't make sense. Thank you.
What are you talking about?
That's what I'm talking about. You're the main event. They just don't know yet.
That's right.
What is it?
they never put me that low on a card again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's sometimes the best fight of the night is the opener. Which are you the opener on the main card? Is that where you're at? Or
it's like super weird because like it was like Britain Hart was going to be the co-main, and now she's not the co-main. Now she's the featured fight, but I'm also the featured fight, and then the men are now the co-main. I don't know. Okay. It's been a lot of just like all over the place.
Yeah.
A lot of people are upset and like arguing about like who should be where, and I'm like, fuck that. I just want to go fight. I don't give a fuck what place I am on that card. Exactly. I'm going to go whoop some ass, and then I'm gonna make sure I solidify my spot as the main event every single time that I'm on a card. Yeah, I mean, this is a question for you. This is a question for you and Brian. What's it like kind of at your guys' gym right now? There is a kind of a rise of particular. I'm not trying to single you two out, but I know it's especially of what is going on with you two right now with Brian and his rise from, on the Ultimate Fighter and whatever is going on there. His face looks very nice after 5 weeks in the Ultimate Fighter house. So, yeah, just saying. And then you, Taylor, having your bare knuckle FC fight, which was it in the prelims? Was it on the main card? This is kind of the point with how you fought. It didn't matter where it was at because it was the best fight on the card. It's a reason a bare knuckle mania was a success. You realize? I think you guys were the opener, weren't you? Yeah.
Like the very first fight.
The way the time gap was, they kind of wanted me to be in the prelims just because it's free. So everybody watches the prelims. Yeah, not everybody watches and pays for the pay-per-view or for on the app. But they were like, man, that performance, we wish that you would have been like the last fight on the prelims. But then also I set the tone for the main card.
Yeah, you inspired everybody to come out there and be like, we can't have this little blonde girl show us up as bare knuckle fighters. I mean, what are we going to do? That fight was unbelievable. That it's just like, I can't believe I was late to the party with that. But after that, I've been leading the train, at least in my mind.
Time to get everybody to sip the Kool-Aid, baby.
I'm telling you, Aaron the Dog MMA will definitely spread the gospel. I will be doing a breakdown on the bare knuckle FC fights next week as well. So MMA includes everything for me. It is not simply, mixed martial arts, how it's kind of been classified at this point. You are absolutely a mixed martial artist. Yeah, I mean, for you to make the time to come on with Brian, I know that he's always glad to see you. Brian, what you got to say to Taylor? Come on. Let me step off.
Taylor is the homie, so I'll only say nice things, you know what I'm saying, since the public is watching, you know what I'm saying? But no, dude, I know dudes who Taylor's dropped in the gym before, you know what I'm saying? It's just Taylor cracks a little bit. Like me and Taylor, even though I fight at 185 pounds and I normally walk around over 200 pounds. Taylor has challenged me. I don't know if you know what a tire drill sparring is.
Tell the people. Just make sure to tell people.
Tire drill sparring is when you put one wheel in a tire. Yeah. So you each have one wheel in the tire. You can't take that foot out of the tire.
Yep.
And you're sparring each other. I mean, it's boxing, but you're sparring each other while your foot is in the tire.
Oh, that line, baby.
And I didn't come one Sunday, and Taylor posted a clip. She said, and she called me out personally. She said, Pooh Bear, I want to see you at the tire. I said, oh, man.
My favorite, the best thing is, one time we, went in the cage to spar, and we're, in front of each other, and the bell rings, and, right off the rip, I'm throwing, a 100-piece combo, and BB's like, oh, hey, oh. Whoa, he's like, she hit me in my stomach, and I was like, oh.
How long have you guys known each other?
I've actually known Brian for a long time, but I didn't meet him until this year. This year I met you finally, but I knew of him because he fought one of my former teammates, Impa. And I remember I was so floored because Impa was my teammate, but I seen Brian Battle dominate him, and I remember
I know that fight very well. Brian has asked me to not bring. Brian has asked me to stop bringing that fight up all the time because he thinks that people are gonna think I'm just gonna call him the Impa guy who Yeah, that was a very impressive fight.
But that's when I first saw Bryan, and I was like, oh shit. And then I met him, and I was like, you're the man who beat up my former teammate. But no, Bryan's so awesome, and like it's so cool. Like the nicest guy. Like you're just the best, Bryan, and it brings good energy. And that's why I think we have such a key factor in like where we're heading and what we have going on, because it's not just like we're all in there working hard. We all have good fucking energy, like with each other. It's all good vibes, and like that's the key.
It's good energy. The egos are kept in check. Everyone's trying to get better, make the people around them better, because if everyone around me gets better, then I'll get better. It's just hard work, baby. We're just working. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't matter if people see it or not. We're working, and now people are starting to see the results of all those hard work. So
yeah, and it doesn't matter if I'm a 125-pound female. Like these men will come in here and they don't ever once like think twice. Like they come in there and they give me that fucking work. Just like I'm 185 pounds. Like,
hell
yeah, because she'll punch you. I know. No, this will be the last one. I'm not gonna say any names, but I had a teammate and he was sparring with Taylor, and I think because normally when you spar with females, unless they're like trained to fight, normally you go like, because then if you hit a chick hard, and everyone's like, yo, what the heck, man? So I guess he hit her with like a stiff punch or something.
Okay.
And he was like, hey, oh, my bad, are you okay? And she said, let's fucking go, bitch, and fucking threw like a 3-punch combination as hard as she could at him. It was amazing.
I ain't no bitch.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it doesn't really surprise me that those are the kind of qualities that your camp has. I mean, hell, Bryan's been with me doing these breakdowns for, I don't know, 6-7 months now, and we started with 0 people watching at all times. Then he followed me over to my own channel here which I just started 3 weeks ago. He does this for the right reasons. I can tell you guys, just you try to get better for the right reasons, whether people are watching or not. It is not really the concern of you. And now the eyes are coming, whether you like it or not. I mean, you, Taylor, with your performances and the performance coming up. And Alec has a question that I definitely think you'll be able to answer better than I will. But he's pumped to see the B fight next week. Where can he find this next fight?
All right, make sure you download the Fight app, or you can download BKFC TV, and it's so cheap. Like it's $4.99 for the BKFC TV app, and you can watch all the fights anytime, over and over again. It's going to be July 23rd. I'm on the main card. I'm one of the featured bouts, so it's going to be awesome. Don't miss it. Don't blink, because I'm telling you, once I get in there, it's going to be quick. It's going to be a short night for me, so make sure you download the apps. Get it beforehand. Make sure you're ready to go. Get your popcorn. I'm telling you.
I'm going to keep gassing her up. I've been seeing her in the gym. I've been seeing her crack the pads and, put in the sweat and the blood. Not a whole lot of tears, because she ain't crying over anything, bro. You know what I'm saying? She's coming to throw hands and take heads, bro.
Right on, Alec. We appreciate you joining, and appreciate you supporting all of combat sports here. I mean, it is crazy how BKFC has continued to blow up, and it just went from this very ridiculed question thing. Well, we're going to have women, to now all of a sudden the women are the stars of the sport. I mean,
now everybody wants in bare knuckle. Everybody wants in bare knuckle.
Everybody. It's like, it is unbelievable. And, Taylor was there from, at the beginning of that. And I stand by it. If they did not have your fight as the opener, I don't believe the sport would be at where it's at here in July. It set a tone, and I've told you this many times because I've talked about how I've watched this fight probably 10 times over this year. I really do watch it when I'm feeling just kind of down. My favorite part of the fight was definitely the corner with your cornerman Keith, when he wasn't drinking water, and you were just like, just give me some fucking water. I do not fucking care. Give me some fucking water.
Like Keith's trying to corner me, and they were struggling because like those ropes are so solid, and I could only have one cornerman. So it's Keith, and he's trying to get my stool, get my water, eyes, but coach me. I'm like, listen, I don't give a fuck about what you have to say right now. My mouth is dry. Like my mouth is like I'm
Yeah. We've all been at a point, not from a bare knuckle fight, but where we needed water. And I can feel that when that water's poured into your mouth, I feel quite, I mean, that was the moment I was like, I'm gonna check out this Taylor girl a little more because she is fucking insane. And then, you know, as you follow if you don't follow Taylor, like you're fucking up. But it is instant motivation, even on the days where you can tell that your car's just broken down or whatever else has happened and isn't announced, or some, you know, like you work through it and chosen your fight.
I'll be like in my car, like, my car broke down, my power steering went out, but my eyebrows are on fleek.
It's just like, I mean, it's like you're always speaking the facts. So that's why, I mean, I don't think there's any more factual sport than bare knuckle. When you get hit clean there's no getting away from it. There's no rolling away from it. It's
the one thing I can say is just like throughout all of it, continuing forward the past, like I never change up for nobody. I don't care if you think I'm a dork. I don't care if you think I'm weird. Like I am not gonna change for anybody, no matter what level I'm on. This stays the same at the end of the day because I think I'm fucking hilarious. I'm not gonna change for anybody else.
Hey, as long as you're laughing, and then it doesn't matter, right? You know what I'm saying?
I think I'm hilarious, and I think you're right. That's all that matters. Like,
this is why we all get along so well. And here's a question from one of my co-hosts, Brandon of MMA Wagers. Is Cassie Robb the most experienced opponent you've faced in any of your combat experience?
No.
Okay.
I would have to say I fought Becca Irwin in Glory, and she was like a 4-time world champion in Muay Thai, and that I was not gonna lie, like I was fucking terrified. And we went all 3 rounds, and I gave her like we had a good fight. It was a good brawl, and I lost, but like that shit was. I remember she hit me with a head kick in my neck, and my eyes like shook in my head. And I was like. That's what it was like. Almost go night. And I kept moving forward. She was the toughest opponent, I would say. And then there's another girl by the name Cynthia Arceo. I fought her like my second MMA fight, and that girl dropped me in the first round. And
I know Cynthia very well.
She broke my nose for the first time. Definitely made me.
How many times have you had your nose broken?
3 or 4.
Doesn't even like
that she knows of.
Yeah,
that she knows of.
Look at it, and you wouldn't be able to tell.
I know. It's much better looking at my nose. My nose is only. I mean, I don't even know how many times my nose has been broken either, but it's crooked like a mug right now. You know
it is very crooked.
More crooked than it used to be, but it's not bad.
Yeah, no, it adds character. The curves add character to the nose. You know,
and real quick, I mean, since we got Taylor on here, I got to do a shout out to the big bro, Keith the Rockstar Richardson, the man, the myth, the legend. And shout out to him for, you know, having a space. Because I'm highest stand. You know, he owns Mountain Warrior, but he's very very open with his gym, and you know he's always like taking his time to like, you know, help mentor young fighters coming up, and you know.
And he's fighting himself coming up, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
After I fight.
Jeez. Against the Scoggins. Which Jared
Scoggins? Right. Josh, right? Fight. Is it Josh Scoggins or Jared?
Justin Scoggins.
Justin.
There's so many different Scoggins, but they're all
Scoggins do we need?
They're all fucking killers for real, and they're South Carolina products, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So
and I mean
that huge opportunity.
MMA card is
bring
huge
them all.
too.
Bring them all to the event. We all gonna fight a Scoggins.
Hey,
let's go.
We'll get Keith on here to talk about that fight if he wants to make the time to come on. He's absolutely welcome.
Let's go.
Yeah, well, fuck a Scoggins. Yeah, I'll say it.
Keith is the best. He's so supportive, and like he has been pouring his heart and soul into my fight camp as well as his own fight camp, and he has to deal with me being a fucking. Like I'm crazy. Like Brian hasn't had to see me crazy yet, but I've had some like blowouts in the gym where I just like lose my shit. Cause you know, like there just comes a point in fight camp where you like hit that wall and everything sucks and you're almost there, but you're not. It's so far away, and I definitely have cussed a couple people out, like just out of my own frustration, and they all deal with it. And Keith is just like rolls with the punches, and then the next day he'll just be like, "God, I wanted to fucking kill you, but I just like." You know?
That's great. I mean, yeah. Go ahead, Bryan.
No, I was about to say she don't have blowouts when I'm there because she's trying to look cool in front of me. You know what I'm saying? She don't want to look like a crazy person in front of me.
I try. Like the funny thing is, we have like put a date on it. Like it's always on Thursdays. Thursdays are my crazy days because it's like not the end of the week, but almost, and that's like my longest day of the week with work and everything. And every single Thursday I have a blowout. So it's like funny because it's gotten to the point now when it's Thursday and I come in, people are like. They're gonna be unstable today. Like,
well, it is what it is. If you can't handle the heat, stay out the kitchen, baby. You
can't handle the heat. You can't be crazy with them. They're not family.
Yes, sir.
I will block you at least like one time. You know, women shit, like just being crazy. A crazy bitch is all I am.
Absolutely. So is there
Taylor?
Yeah, Taylor. I'd love to keep talking to you, but I just
talk about.
we only have 12 more fights to break, or 10 more fights to break down. But before I do get out of here, what should we? I'm going to do the generic question here. What should we expect next week? You can take that however specific or not specific you'd like. It's the most lame question I'll ever ask in an interview.
I just, I think everybody thinks that they saw like the peak of me at Knucklemania, and that was just like not even 1/10 of like what I'm about to bring. Like I feel so much more, more better. Like okay, grammar. So much more improvement from February to now. I feel like a whole different fighter, and my mindset's different. Like all I literally think about every day, like I will even like meditate and I'm like murder. Like it's just on my mind. Like I want to go in there. Like I really set the bar high, so like I don't have room to go in there and fuck around. So I'm going in there because like she's not going to take what's mine from me. What I've built in a short amount of time is not going to be ripped away from me that quick. So she's just in the way of me getting a belt. And like, that's what I want. I want to be the first women's champion for bare knuckle, and that's what's going to happen. And she's in my way.
Absolutely. I love it. I can't wait to break down the full card next week. And particular.
Can I ask one question real quick?
Oh yeah.
Can I ask one question?
Yes, please.
Will there be a dance routine out to the ring tomorrow?
Not tomorrow, next week.
Not next week. Next week. Yes, next week.
I'm sorry. We got to see. I will say this, like, okay, I'll give you guys like a hint. My walkout song is like a throwback 2000s rap song, but it like perfectly describes like everything that happened since Knucklemania to now for me.
Who's it by?
No.
Hey, it'll give it away.
Yeah. Okay. That's a great tease. Taylor, thank you so much for making the time to be on my little old channel here. I can't believe it. You're taking time we love you here. Honestly, check out Taylor Starling on all platforms. She's a superstar. And most importantly, next week on Bare Knuckle FC, download the app, pay $5. Like it's definitely worth it. Super easy. You can beam it right onto your TV.
Me and you, Tyler, on Sunday.
Let's go. I'm showing up, and I'm gonna make a video for Aaron the dog.
Yo, I will be there. I'll be there live with popcorn. So, Taylor, have a great night. Take care. We love you.
See you soon. Love you guys. Bye.
Peace out. She is a starling indeed. So I little behind the scenes real quick. Forgot to send her the link at the beginning of the episode, so that's why she like I don't know. There was like at one point you're talking, I'm like, let me send this link real quick. Yeah, Alec, dude, get on Bare Knuckle FC. It's dope. Unfortunately, the secret's out on Taylor Starling. I don't know if you've seen the line for Taylor. Did you see it?
No.
Minus 275. Still good enough because frankly, the girl she's facing is not in her.
No, she's gonna get smoked.
Cassie Robb is getting finished.
She's getting smoked.
Taylor Starling, round 2 TKO, maybe round 1, honestly, because like I just don't see her being able to deal with the length and the kind of accuracy of that 1-2 alone.
The length, the accuracy, the volume, and she isn't joking. She's been busting her ass since that. Like this is one of those things where she's been like coasting off of that victory. She's been building on the momentum, so you should see. She's gonna put on a show. It's gonna be dope.
And it's like y'all are just like 1 or 2 fights away from that, not having to work a full-time goddamn job and fucking being a full-time MMA fighter. This is crazy that you guys do this. Like Taylor is fucking up at 5 a.m. baking macaroons, taking her kids to school, and then going and training 4 times. And then everybody's like, she doesn't do shit. And then you're like in the fucking whatever the fuck you like. I don't know how y'all do it. I like walk dogs and then do a couple podcasts. I'm like, I'm so tired. Like,
right, man. Listen, bro. It's a different kind of tired, but I mean, yeah, you gotta love it. I mean, you're still like you said, you're going over tape on YouTube for these random Portuguese fighters. You know what I'm saying? It's everyone's got
after that LFA breakdown, which is on the channel right now. I basically know Portuguese after that amount of Brazilian regional tape I had to watch. But we'll get back into this one. Taylor stopping on. She's a fucking gem. The fact that you guys are in the same gym makes all the sense in the world. But we're on the Miles Johns Anderson Dos Santos fight. Very good fight here at bantamweight. Miles Johns still 27 years old, 5'7", 68-inch reach. That definitely is one of my biggest negatives with him as a bantamweight. Very, very short reach, and has some gas issues as well, or cardio issues, I think, that came up. Kevin Natividad just had no chance. But against Cole Smith in his debut, Cole Smith had his back for the entire 3rd round. 10-8'd Miles Johns. Cole Smith never won a fight in the UFC. Not a really good look there. Mario Batista just was such a bigger, stronger bantamweight. And just the reach, the athleticism, you could see there that Miles Johns is going to have trouble when he gets to that echelon at bantamweight. And I don't know if he can make 125 and function. So he's kind of stuck. He gets another break against Kevin Natividad, not really UFC ready by the time when he came over. Miles Johns had a really sharp jab, though, in that fight and ended the fight with an uppercut. So if the stand-up's coming along, his wrestling is good, Miles Johns is. His grappling is not good. He can get himself into trouble here. I think one thing for Anderson Dos Santos, which we know, he's just a wild man. He goes in there, blitzes, and he's always got that guillotine. He's always got that jiu-jitsu. And 21-8, he's got triple the experience. So that I do think could be a real factor. I think he has a better gas tank. What he struggled with is guys with a really long reach. So Anderson Dos Santos is 35 years old, fighting on Timo Yama. The guillotine choke of Martin Day was really impressive, but Martin Day didn't win a fight in the UFC also. Andre Ewell has I believe a 76-inch reach, so not exactly the same type of issues Miles Johns will be able to present. And Nadnir Rahmani, really good stand-up guy as well, but never did great. So this is like a very, very close fight here. Thank you, Bunny. I appreciate you joining me for breakdown number 202. Good to see you as always. But yeah, I just think that this should be Miles Johns, 27 years old. He should be improving. Fortis MMA, one of the best camps in Texas and overall in MMA right now. Has good partners there. Anderson Dos Santos kind of like one track only. It's like going for that guillotine and kind of making this a scramble fest. He does have a few guillotine choke wins though in his in rear naked chokes. He choked out Ricky Simone. I mean, early on, but still, I mean, these are good wins. Guys like Claudini Barrello, very good actual wins. And his losses haven't come to the greatest, but still, yeah, I think this is a toss up. I'm gonna lean towards Miles Johns. I just think he should be the more improving fighter at 27 years old. He's got the better overall game, but it's a little bit of if he goes to the grappling, I am worried about a scramble happening and him giving up a submission. But I'm going to go Miles Johns here. It's a decent line on him also, so I'll take Miles Johns. I'll take him for a decision win.
No, this is one of those fights that I'm pretty excited about because it's a good fight, man. I think Anderson, Dos Santos, he's gonna bring the fight, man. You know what I'm saying? He's a guy that's gonna come forward, and it's like I don't think he has good striking per se, but he has good grappler striking where you're afraid of him changing levels and going down. He's good at taking advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? He throws big overhand shots off of fake level changes, and he's got good power. Not like the craziest power, but he's got really good power. But like you said, I mean, he's at the point in his career where he kind of like is what he is. You know what I'm saying? Like you watch one fight and you kind of know what you're dealing with. Like he's good at what he does, but if you can neutralize those things, then he's gonna have a hard time. Miles, this guy, it's like I want to be really impressed with him. Like I want to be really impressed with him. I feel like kind of like you said. I mean, if in that fight with Natividad, if he would have just followed up on that jab, because he was landing that jab so consistently, if he would have followed up with that,
and he's developed that jab even more, though. I mean, you saw in the Natividad fight, that jab is clearly what he's working on in the gym every day. Yeah,
his jab was his best weapon in that. His jab won him that fight, in all honesty, because he was, he was landing takedowns that didn't even count because he was doing these beautiful takedowns, but then not securing position. So honestly, the grappling, even though, and you touched on this earlier, he's a better wrestler, not the better grappler. And so the grappling, like if they do scramble, that to me is the scariest.
Take his back,
take his neck, because that's a wrestler's number one Achilles heel. Generally, is that guillotine, and so with all that said, I believe Miles Johns will win by decision because he just does seem to be getting a little bit better every time he's getting into the cage. But this should be a fun fight. You know what I'm saying? I'm picking Miles John to win by decision, but I could also see Dos Santos getting a guillotine in the first round or even faking a level change and coming over the top. So this is a fun fight. Miles John by decision for me, but I'm going to enjoy watching it.
Really good matchup, I think, to let kind of the matchmakers know what Miles Johns is.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they're still trying to figure out. It lets Miles Johns know. I'm not going to be betting a ton of these fights heavy early on, particularly. Just because I'm going to be sweating this with Miles. Even if he wins the first 2 rounds, I'm going to be sweating it. Because if I see the hands on the hips, if I see tired shots in the third round, I mean, Dos Santos is a submission at any point in the fight type of guy. But it is a decent line. Miles Johns minus 185. But still, I mean, that's a decent line this week.
How much do you think you could get for a Dos Santos third round submission?
I mean, that's going to be plus 1,200 at least, I would think. Well, let's see, submission third round plus 2,500. Third round.
I would have thrown some money down on that just because of that number.
I mean, if Dos Santos gets the TKO in the third round, plus 4,000.
Wow. I mean, that's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, obviously, Vegas
if you're just going Dos Santos third round overall for a finish, plus 1,600.
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying, and he's got so this is the kind of fight we're talking about when we're looking into those types of possibilities. But we're gonna agree again. That is 3 straight agreements. Wow. So. We're starting out probably 0-3.
We're like heading towards a record. Don't chill.
Yeah, let's go on a honeymoon next. Because apparently that's what we're at. Real quick. Hold on. We got some stats here. Anderson Dos Santos, 17 of 21 finishes, 81%, 21 in the first round. So that means 9 out of the first round then, Ryan. Brandon. I just call him Ryan. I don't know why. I was like going to say Brian, and I was talking to, I don't know. It's been a long
It's okay.
day.
There's a lot of names. It's a lot
Dude,
of
I've been
names.
saying so many names today. So many Brazilian names. A lot of names.
Next week, dude, even on one, if like we didn't have the Tapology thing, like it'd be like, because just like you said, even with just this card, there's like 12 fights, and so many of these guys are foreign and have like it's not like Aaron Jordan or
Speaking of foreign, we've got a guy from let's see, where is Khalid Taha from? Germany versus Kazakhstan. We got Khalid Taha taking on Sergey Morozov at 135, another bantamweight fight. This is a really good fight in my opinion. The Kazakhstani Sergey Morozov, he pissed off someone at the UFC because his debut was against Umar Nurmagomedov. And if Umar didn't get injured, he'd be on the road to the top 15 right now. Umar Nurmagomedov fights like Khabib, but he kicks. It is not fair. It shouldn't be allowed in the sport. It's just no one's gonna beat that for a very long time. Unless injuries beat it. But Morozov had to be the first opponent of him, 16-4 now for the 32-year-old Kazakhstani, 5'6", 67-inch reach. Just to let you know, that is the same reach as Miles Johns. So that is, these Miles Johns got very short reach here. But
he seems taller than Miles Johns from what I've watched, but keep on going.
He definitely fights taller for sure. He's listed at 5'6" here, coming off that rear naked choke in round 2 to Umar Nurmagomedov. I mean, Umar's gonna Umar. Sergey did have 2 fights with Josh Reddinghouse.
You stole my fact, man. I was gonna drop that.
Oh shit! I'll leave you with the ultimate fight. You can go into that. But either way, besides that guy, he also. His losses are to very good opponents. Pavel Vitruk is a 9-2 opponent at the time. Mavasar Evelev still undefeated in the UFC. Umar Nurmagomedov undefeated in the UFC. And then Reddinghouse, he was knocked out by. And then we saw, if you didn't watch Tough this last week, Reddinghouse is on Tough. And I won't say what happens on there. And I'll let from there. Rafael Diaz is another very good win. Rafael Diaz is fighting in the LFA this weekend. These are very good guys that Morozov has faced throughout his career. You look at just the records: 24-7, 6-3, 11-4, 7-2, 6-0. He was a multi-division champion. Things you really like to see. And then he came in and he faced Umar Nurmagomedov. I mean, Nurmagomedov is going to do what he did to Morozov to most of his opponents. So, I mean, I look at this as his UFC debut, but he got to go through the process again. So, and he's facing a guy in Khalid Taha who he's okay, but he was on the juice when he was really good. So, and he looked like he was on gear. When you looked at him before he failed for the diuretic, which means that he was doing steroids, is that you looked at him and you're like, that is not. I mean, look at him. He's shredded. This little German is absolutely shredded. 28 years old, 5'5", 69-inch reach. So he will have a reach advantage. Got pretty dominated by Rayoni Barcelos in their fight. No real shame there. He had a no contest against Bruno Silva, who he arm triangled in the 3rd round, but before that was kind of struggling. Bruno Silva is a pure 125er. It was also overturned because he was on steroids, as Brandon here says. The one no contest is. So, he needed 3 rounds even with steroids to beat Bruno Silva. So, before that, knocked out Boston Salmon, who never did anything in the UFC and never should have been there, frankly. Pretty rough go of it. And I'm just... overall, I'm not really that sold on Taha. He lost to Nad Narimani. Second guy tonight we're talking about losing to Nad Narimani, and Nad Narimani is not that great. Thank you, Bunny. You are killing it as well.
Bunny. Thanks, man.
We appreciate it.
You're making us blush.
She's always out there with the love. Can't appreciate it enough. But Khalid Taha, I mean, he's a very hard hitter, but he's been taken down in a lot of his fights here. Morozov has a very good wrestling game and just overall MMA game. I don't think we saw a great example of him in his debut. I got Morozov all day in this fight, really. I think that he has to avoid the power in the first round of Taha. Taha comes on and swings hard. But after that first round, I think the sting is gone, and it's Morozov all day here. I'll take the decision win.
Fun fact, I don't know if you know that Morozov, he fought a member of the Tough 29 crew 2 times. And Josh Reddinghouse. Reddinghouse, who fought this past Tuesday against Brady Heisted.
That's some really cool information. I'm glad it wasn't
crazy,
spoiled that
right?
time. Yeah, and blown.
Well, I mean, that is like actually a really solid one, because Josh, not too long before that, had gone to a decision with Marlon Moraes for the World Series of Fighting, whatever title, bantamweight title.
That's a crazy win by Brady. Crazy win.
Shout out to Brady. But no, dude, this fight, I think this fight could be fun too. I mean, because Taha, he didn't look his last fight, that was difficult because that kid he fought was good, man. I mean, and Taha was looking good in that fight, but it was just like he just didn't have enough for this guy. You know what I'm saying? This guy was a little bit bigger, a little bit quicker to the punch, but he was doing good with his reactions to his defense. It just wasn't enough. Sergey, I mean, dude, this guy he's a tough guy. Like you said, he's got really good wrestling, nice scrambles. At least, and again, you're fighting Nurmagomedov, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be tough to, use your wrestling against one of those guys, you know what I'm saying? You're not really shooting for takedowns against those guys. So I think that's really what this one comes down to. Because on the feet, he's got good striking. I just think Taha's striking is a little bit cleaner, you know what I'm saying? I think he's got more power in his punches. And maybe I shouldn't like Taha this much, but I feel like he's gonna get the W in this one. I feel like he needs it, man. He's gonna come out desperate, and I think he's gonna. I got the decision going the other way. I guess the honeymoon is over.
It's
man,
finally
these honeymoons
over.
never last. They never last long. As soon as we
it was going too well, and then we brought a woman in between us. We handled it last week with Bunny. We couldn't handle it this week with Taylor.
Can't handle it, man.
There's too many of these beautiful, talented women in the MMA world that we can't deal with it. So, the problems of being on the Aaron the Dog channel. Just so hard. Now you got us this week. So lucky to all the people tuning in. I'm surprised we haven't gotten the comment, "Where's the hot girl?" I've gotten that comment before on my breakdowns when I've had Bunny on, and then
man,
they're like, "Where's the hot white girl?"
I'll tell you, man, dude, the comments have dropped off a cliff.
We're not quite getting the support we got last week when Bunny was doing shoes.
Oh no, not even close.
You're so good. Good job. Where's our support? Like George or Craig or whatever that dude was.
I know. Bunny's like, when Bunny's not on the show, Bunny's the one hyping us up during the show.
Right. She's bossing comments for a reason.
Yes.
Khalid Taha is the favorite, which I was surprised about. Minus 145. It's a very close fight. Plus 120 for Sergey Morozov. I just think Sergey Morozov has faced a better level of competition and has a better game here, but we will definitely see. I got Morozov by decision. You got Taha by decision. So finally a disagreement, so it doesn't just sound like an echo chamber in here. That's good.
Yeah.
But now I'm extra interested in that fight. We're moving on to the next fight at 115. This fight is going to break my heart a little bit because I was a huge fan of Mazeret from her debut. Man, I loved, even though she only did one move, she did that one head and arm throw so well that she won a UFC fight doing it, which I just think is amazing to see.
Exclusively one move. It was incredible. It was as incredible to watch as it was frustrating because I was like, "What,
dude?" I bet her, so it was not frustrating at all to me. I was in absolute heaven. We're double digits right now, baby. Let's go. Thank y'all for joining. The word is slowly spreading, bro. It's slowly spreading. But yeah, absolutely, we're trying to make that money. But yeah, Maserati, Conejo, you see that right there. Nice one, perfect pick of the decision win over Cheyenne Buys. That was a rough night for the Buys clan for sure. Both JP and Cheyenne both lost, and Maserati spit at Cheyenne after the fight. Not exactly the best.
I remember because Cheyenne was talking shit though, wasn't she?
She was like, "I'm gonna follow you home." Like, I'm gonna follow you.
You just had 15 minutes to do something, Cheyenne.
Yeah, and you got bullied.
She's just gonna hit you with the sag again. If you
she's just gonna throw that.
She's gonna do the same thing. What are you talking about?
all night. Nuggies all night.
All night, baby.
Yeah, it was Ruiz came in on short notice. Yeah, 29-28, 29-28, 29-27. Yeah, and then here's the numbers. 15 significant strikes, 130. That's crazy. Only 15 of 136 strikes were significant. That's how weak those punches were from the side ahead. I mean, she just took her down 4 times and controlled her for 2/3 of the fight. It's still a win. Still counts. Yeah, 7-time wrestling champion. Definitely what Ruiz is known for. I mean, she's legit though, man. 10th Plan Jiu-Jitsu. She spent some time at 5'0". She's a little savage. 10-1. Her one loss coming to Danielle Taylor in Invicta. No shame there. Yeah, she gets some submissions. She's gotten that scarf hold, key lock a few times, but she's facing an absolute monster, an absolute beast here in Amanda Lemos. She scares the hell out of me. I picked Liviana Souza in the last fight, and Liviana Souza could not get a takedown. And after that, the distance control and the damage that was being put on by Amanda Lemos, it was crazy. It was a power jab and ground and pound that finished the fight there. It was sometimes that power jab gets too much credit. This was an absolute stiff jab. I think that Conejo is going to be shooting very quickly early on. And I think that when she's not able to get to that position, I think that Lemos is going to be able to probably get the distance and put her away. Lemos's only loss came, and Brandon coming with the knowledge right now, but yeah, on July 17th, it was against Leslie Smith. It was short notice for Lemos. Obviously, not a great win as that's age since Leslie Smith hasn't been doing great, but yeah, Amanda since then has really looked good. Got the rear naked choke of Miranda Granger, who was undefeated at the time in the first round. Dominated Inouye, who was not a 115er, but still has to fight that because there's no atom weight. And then the knockout of Souza. I'm predicting another knockout here for Lemos, unfortunately. I really like Maserati Ruiz. I think she's just a gangster. I think she's a savage. And I just think she's going to be outclassed here. I just don't know how else to put it.
No, man. And even that loss to Leslie Smith was on like a little bit of a tear. She had either right before that fight, she had beat the I can't remember her name. She fought last week on the main card. And I got smoked Kuniskaya.
Irene Aldana.
Yeah, she beat Irene Aldana in that stretch right. too. So I mean,
Leslie Smith is a legend, man.
Dude, she's a sneaker, man. But yeah, man, I feel the same way, dude. Now, granted, assuming Amanda's been working on her SAG defense, you know what I'm saying? Assuming right. She has an answer for that move that Maserati is so freaking good at. Yeah, dude, Amanda, she always looks like she's ready to knock a chick out. Like she's just like flat-footed, always just like loaded up and ready to go. And she's a fun chick to watch fight. Like this is normally when there's like female fights at this point on the card, normally it's like
we're making our stake like Jessica last week.
It's like 14 and 8, where they're 4 and 8 in the UFC or something like that. Both these chicks great records, and they're both like terrifying in their own right. Like
Mm-hmm.
both of them, if they get their game going, then it's going to be a bad night for the other chick. So I also have Amanda. I guess the honeymoon's back on, I guess, but I got
Reunited, and it feels so good.
it feels so good, baby. But yeah, I got Amanda by knockout too.
Yeah,
I'll go
I mean,
round 3 with that.
yeah, I think that with the odds where they're at, you got to play a prop here on Amanda. Amanda's a minus 500 favorite. Minus 500. So I'm taking her inside the distance, plus 105, get slight even money. Bet 100, win 100, and win 105. That's how I look at it. So I think that she should be able to get the finish, but Conejo's tough. She's never been finished. She's 11-1. And I mean, if Conejo can do the same thing to Limoges, all of a sudden I think a lot of people are going to be concerned. But I think more than likely this looks similar to maybe, hopefully not as bad, but Ryan Hall against Tapuera last week when Ryan Hall was just trying his one trick and it wasn't working.
That was really sad to watch.
You hated to see that.
The
legend of Ryan Hall died.
Just demolished.
Just like
demolished. That. But if anyone was going to do it, at least it was that kid. At least it was like a big name prospect.
Capoeira is so good and only 24 years old. Good googly moogly.
I know, that guy's a monster.
He's going to be doing big things. I will stop picking against him. Because I'm getting wrong every time. 170 is where we go next. Short notice replacement here in Preston Parsons, the grappler, taking on Daniel Rodriguez D-Rod. 14-2 gets 9-2. I will start with Preston Pressure Parsons. Cool nickname because it is how he fights. Definitely puts pressure on with the grappling and everything. 9-2 overall for the 26-year-old out of Jacksonville Beach, Florida. Fights out of Elevate MMA. I'm not exactly sure what that camp is. Currently on a 4-fight win streak. Don't recognize a lot of the names, but all of them being finishes. His losses have come to Mike Perry by knockout in the first round. No shame there at all. And Valdir Araujo, 16-7, got guillotine choked by him. Besides that, all finishes. I mean, finishes by rear naked choke, armbar, guillotine choke, rear naked choke, armbar. So Preston finishes fights. He's been finished or he's been finished. So he's kill or be killed. That's definitely how he's going to come into this fight with Daniel Rodriguez. Daniel Rodriguez has pretty legit ground game and very legit stand-up. 10th Planet product himself as well. And Daniel Rodriguez, pretty good picking his fights. I'm 3-0 in picking his fights. So coming off the win of Mike Perry, looked pretty good in that. He was training for Abubakar Nurmagomedov. So definitely was training wrestling coming into this fight. So I don't think it's a huge adjustment going to the grappling-based Parsons here. I think he was kind of preparing for that and has that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, good takedown defense. And happy birthday to Preston. He turned 26 today. So there you go. Brandon with all of the knowledge.
Happy birthday, Preston.
Yeah. But happy birthday, Preston. Your gift is you're facing Daniel Rodriguez, a decent guy to make a short notice appearance at, frankly. I give Preston a grappler's chance for sure. I mean, he's proven it here, and he looks really legit from what I've been able to see, but I think he's going to be a little undersized here, and the short notice and everything. Daniel Rodriguez is good hands. I got Daniel Rodriguez to get the knockout.
Ooh, nice. I like that. I like that a lot. And you're supposed to like learn as you're going on with these things. And one thing I've learned is to like not fall in love with like the tape outside the UFC.
Yes, sir.
Dadgummit, man. Man, Preston is such a fun person to watch fight. Holy cow, man. He is. Daniel Rodriguez, like his strike, like, I mean, he pieced Mike Perry up. But Mike Perry also didn't move his head. Like, Mike Perry's a weird guy. He's, at this point in his career, he's just a weird guy. I think Preston, like, this might could be fight of the night, this one right here, depending on how it turns out. Because Preston, when he does strike, he strikes in the pocket. He strikes in a range where he can shoot if you start guarding too much. And Daniel Rodriguez has also shown that he is not afraid to strike in the pocket. So, with that being said, hot take of the day. I'm taking Preston.
Nice.
I'm taking Preston. Second round submission. And I could totally see Daniel Rodriguez knocking him out for sure, 110%. But you
want to see Preston win. You want to see Preston win.
It's not that I want to see Preston win, but I do kind of want to see Preston win. It'd be a nice little story, man. And I don't think Daniel is like the biggest obstacle to overcome. You know what I'm saying, in your debut, like you said. I think this is a good matchup for him. Like, it's not someone out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a really fun fight. That is a fact.
It's a good fight. Daniel Rodriguez is currently a minus 325. That's a little heavy for me, Doc. Plus 250 on Preston Parsons. That we don't have any of the other lines out because the under 1.5 is even. So they're kind of expecting this fight to end within the first 7.5 minutes. So
that makes sense. I can see that 110%.
Yeah, I don't mind the under 1.5, but sometimes I feel like Rodriguez takes a little time to get going, so he might be a little later with his finish. It's a tough fight based on the odds to take, though, minus 325. I think this is good.
These odds are heavy on this card.
Yeah, they're pretty heavy. It's tough to find those. And then second most amount of significant strikes landed in a 3-round welterweight fight for Rodriguez at 175. That definitely could be something I could see happening too. If Parsons is unable to get to grappling, he could get really eaten up in that striking by Rodriguez. And Rodriguez is good grappling. I mean, we saw that standing guillotine finish of Tim Means. I mean, that was real nice where he hurt him with this. I mean, I can really see Parsons getting hurt with the stand-up and finish with a submission also. So that is the featured fight on the prelims. We're to the main card here. We're going to just keep on trucking here. 145, Billy Quantillo taking on Gabriel Benitez. Very, very good fight here, in my opinion. 22-8, Gabriel Benitez versus 15-3, Billy Quantillo. I'll be breaking down Mowgli, Gabriel Benitez first. I love this dude. I really do like how he fights. AKA 33 years old now. And just kind of a savage when he gets in there. He just throws down knees to the body, ended it against Justin James. Really impressive finish there. His 2 losses to Omar Morales. That was a good fight. Omar Morales was just a little bit bigger and a little bit quicker to the punch. That was when he was still at lightweight as well. After that fight is when, I think that he kind of realized that I need to eventually move down to featherweight. That's where this fight is at. His fight against Justin James also was at lightweight, so this is his return to featherweight. It's been a while. It's been a couple fights for Benitez, so he's a very big featherweight. It's definitely, I think, a tough cut for him. I think it's why he moved up to lightweight for a little bit, but I think he knows that this is where he has the size and strength advantages he needs to kind of separate himself. I think that's very evident here against Billy Quantillo. He's going to be so much stronger and bigger than Quantillo. That for Quantillo to win, I think it's surviving that first round and trying to use his cardio, but I just don't think Gabriel has that kind of weakness in his cardio that a lot of Quantillo's wins have caused him to have, like the Spike Carlisle win when he kind of was able to survive that. I just don't think that same kind of survival game plan will work here for Quantillo. Coming off that loss to Gavin Tucker, where Gavin Tucker just looked like a beast against him. Looked so strong, looked like this wrestling animal. I kind of see the same thing here with Gabriel Benitez. I think he's going to be able to control him on the feet, control him with the clinch game and wrestling. I like Gabriel Benitez in this spot pretty well. I think he'll get a decision win. I think Quantillo is tough enough to get to his decision, but I think Benitez is too big and too strong.
Well, yeah, and just like the last fight, this fight should be another banger, man. Both these guys come to fight, man.
Yes.
And this fight, like when I was going over, this one was like a tough one for me to pick. And I think it did come down to like because Gavin Tucker is a monster. You know what I'm saying? He looked like a monster all the way up until his last fight. You know what I'm saying? But with Benitez coming down, you know what I'm saying? He has more experience. And I think he's just an overall better fighter at this point. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a little bit more polished, a little bit better of a fighter. So I'm taking Benitez. Taking Benitez by decision as well. But yeah, there really is no but to that. It's just to have Benitez by decision. But this fight should be fun, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, both these guys are.
Yeah, this is definitely to be considered here. Mowgli was supposed to fight GSP a few months ago, and GSP declined due to declined the fight due to a massive weight cut from Mowgli. So these are definitely tough cuts for Mowgli. And yeah, it's definitely something to be considered. So
shoot, and if he misses weight, then the odds should go in his favor even more, man. Like, what are the odds for people who miss weight and still fight?
I think this year they still have a winning record. Benitez is a minus 175 currently, plus 145 on Quantilo. I think Benitez, depending on the weight, probably gonna wait to make my bets on him too heavily till then. But yeah, it's I'm surprised the line's that wide with the weight cut miss and how close this fight could be. So, but I'm confident in Gabriel, so I'm okay with it.
You know what I'm saying? If someone's working extra hard to make that weight cut, it earns a couple bets in their favor. You know what I mean?
Yep, exactly. Next fight here, we've got potential grappler's delight or a stand-up affair, depending on who has their way, I think. 185, we have Rodolfo Vieira taking on Dustin Stoltzfus. I'll just call him Dustin from here on out.
Yeah, I will also call him Dustin. That's a tough one.
Yeah,
Yes,
Stoltzfus. I believe he's fighting out of Germany now, originally from Pennsylvania. 29 years old, 13-2 middleweight. Dustin here, we love MMA too, as he does. 29 years old, 6 foot 75-inch reach, coming off of a loss to Kyle Dauskis in his UFC debut back in November of 2020. He was coming off of COVID, claimed he had some long-term effects from it. Pretty far out from that at this point. I would assume most of his recovery has happened from there. Fought on the Contender Series against Joseph Pfeiffer, a guy I really like actually as well. Slammed him down and broke his arm, so really didn't get to see a lot of that fight. But as a twister, I believe has a couple twister finishes. Maybe he only has one, but he's gotten a few guys in the twister position. Has a twister finish in the third round, beat Jonas Bilstein, a 20-7 guy who's very, very solid. Overall, has only one loss at 185, and it came against Kyle Dauskis in his UFC debut. And he's got good power on his feet. He's a little stiff, but I mean, when he lands, he can really put you away. For the most part, has good gas. Rodolfo Vieira does not have good gas. What he does have is a really good grappling record. A grappling record, not MMA record. 110 in grappling, 68 subs, and lost by 2 submissions. He also lost in a submission in his last fight to Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, where basically you get Rodolfo Vieira out of the first round and he turns to dust. He just doesn't know what to do with himself. Oscar Pachota even, he was so gassed in that fight, but Oscar Pachota is just that bad. That he was able to put him away just with pure strength from the arm triangle. But yeah, Dustin here, 2 wins by TKO, 5 by sub, 5 by decision. And he's only lost by decision. He's never been subbed, never been knocked out. So definitely really like those numbers there. Rodolfo Vieira, plain and simple, what I would do with this fight is I would live bet it. I personally think Dustin Solfus has a very good chance. Oh, just lost Bryan. So we'll wait for Bryan to come back. I saw him messing with something, but I'll just finish up the breakdown here. I think Rodolfo Vieira should get the finish inside the first round if he wants to win this fight. 5 of his 7 finishes coming in the first round, and his gas just looked so bad in that last fight. I have some, I have particular inside. Yeah, I got a, yes, sir. I also do have the dog in Dustin Stolfus. Kind of shocked by this line. I get Rodolfo Vieira is a very well-established world-class grappler. But in MMA, I think he's been a little bit exposed by Anthony Hernandez. Dustin Stolfus, the line is dramatically dropping on his price, so get his price while it's hot still. But plus 170 for Stolfus, minus 210 for Rodolfo Vieira. I do like Dustin inside the distance, so not sure what the price on inside the distance is exactly, but I think he could knock him out, or we could see another position where the gas tank is so reduced that he's able to get the submission. I like Dustin Stolfus quite a bit in this position as a dog, though. Rodolfo Vieira has 1 round, so I'll probably just live bet it as well to avoid if he comes in and just gets that first round submission. But I got Dustin. I'm curious as to Bryan's pick, but we'll get Bryan when he comes back here, if he can make it back. But yeah, you can't be one-dimensional at this point, not these days, and you can't be one-dimensional with no gas tank, particularly. You can still be one-dimensional, in my opinion, to an extent, but you got to have a gas tank, and Rodolfo Vieira did not show that in the last fight, and I can't go with him. I got Stolfus. Hopefully he's had a recovery from the COVID. I think that, who's striking? Are you talking about Rodolfo Vieira's striking, Brandon? Because I agree that is quite bad. I think that Stolfus has a better showing than his debut here, hopefully. So gonna move on here to the next fight. If Bryan can get back in here, I'm just gonna resend him the link, see if he needs that. But if he can get back in here, I'll get his pick as well. I do think this is one we possibly could be disagreeing on, but we'll move forward as we go. 155, Matsuts Gamarot taking on Jeremy Little Heathen Stevens. Always interesting with Stevens when he shows up, even if last time ended up pushing Drakkar close and throwing out his back. So that kind of sucked. We do. Okay, Brandon was agreeing. It was Rodolfo. Rodolfo strikes in his last few fights, 9, 15, and 18. Significant strikes. So, we like Stolfus here. Use that Muay Thai. Avoid getting to the ground, particularly in the first round. Jeremy Stevens versus Gamarot here. Gamer versus Lil Heathen. Jeremy Stevens, 28 and 18. We know Jeremy Stevens. We love Jeremy Stevens, or we hate him. But either way, we're stuck with him. 35 years old now, acting like this out of Alliance on a 4-fight losing streak, unfortunately, to Jose Aldo, Zabit Magomed Shapirov, Yair Rodriguez, and Calvin Cater. So not really no shame in those 4 losses at all. Prior to that, was on a 3-fight win streak. And there he is, right back again.
I am sorry about that. I had major technical difficulties.
I saw the fidgeting. I was like, oh no. And then I was just like, pop. I was like, well, at least I'm used to talking to myself today. I had Dustin Stolfus. If you didn't catch that, I took Dustin Stolfus. I just think Rodolfo Vieira's striking and his cardio are so atrocious that you got to get him out of the first round, and it's over essentially. But what are your thoughts on that fight, middleweight fight?
Oh no, I was about to say if I could make 2 picks, I would like my first pick to be Rodolfo in the first round, by submission, and then my overall pick to be Dustin by any kind of way after the first round.
So live bet Dustin Stolfus is basically your advice, because if he gets stopped, then you're fine. After that, no matter what, even if Rodolfo has a 10-8 first round, I'd bet Stolfus.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and granted, you gotta assume that Rodolfo's been working on his conditioning, but
wasn't that long ago,
dude, it wasn't that long ago, and he was in bad shape by the second round. Bad enough to get guillotined, and you're just like, no. If Rodolfo gets out of the first round, I don't see how he's not shot.
Okay, yeah, so we're agreeing on that. Are you surprised at these odds with the Vieira-Stolfus fight? Minus 210 for Vieira, plus 170 for Stolfus.
Yeah, I am kind of surprised with that.
Yeah, I think it's I do think that's a little inflated.
I mean, I guess people are just going off the first round and the fact that he's like this grappling machine. But, being a grappling machine doesn't always translate over to.
Yeah, and Stolfus is no slouch on the ground. I mean, he's got twisters, he's got arm bars, knee bars, and he's got good gas, good stand up. I mean, I don't think this is. I think this is equally as hard or a harder fight than Anthony Hernandez.
I'll tell you what, and this is coming from the man, the myth, the legend, Craig Jones himself. He said that he feels like most submissions in MMA come more so due to fatigue than it does come down to actually being a submission ace. And so,
case in point, that last fight,
110%. You know what I'm saying? You could be a world champion BJJ player, but if you get tired, then you're still.
The great equalizer of all men is cardio. So good to get there. We're on the Jeremy Stephens Gamrot fight now. I was just talking about how Jeremy Stephens' last 4 fights have been losses to the best of Aldo, Magomed Sharipov, Yair Rodriguez, and Calvin Kattar. So really no shame there. With Mateusz Gamrot, we're not sure how good he is yet. He definitely came into UFC very hyped up, 17-0 undefeated. Was on a questionable end of a decision loss in his UFC debut. Frankly, it was a split decision against another UFC debutant in Yuram Kudadladze. Very good stand-up guy, but it was just a case of Gamrot going to his wrestling way too late. Steven, here we go. Stephens, just real quick, let me get Brandon's numbers out here. 17 in the UFC and 0-1 in the UFC. His losses have come by KO, 3 by sub, and 12 by decision. That's a lot of decision losses. Yeah, if you've been betting him lately, he's been underdog in all of those fights, but he's not been coming through. And he missed weight in his last fight back in 2020 against Calvin Kattar and still lost. So
that's a big info drop right there,
dude. I mean, it's like he's more useful off screen than on screen. I'm just kidding, Brandon.
That is. I mean, I feel like Brandon's almost like a third member of the show with he's almost like that producer just throws in. Yeah,
and we got Bunny. We got a 4-member team here, really. We got our hype woman Bunny. We got the statistician. Yes. Brandon,
yes.
We got just superstars dropping in left and right. Fernando Padilla is going to be making an appearance really soon here as well.
Why aren't more people watching this?
They'll get there.
Everything.
They get there. We last week was our high at 200 views. So we're getting there. It's a slow build here. Frankly, I need to get better at advertising and promoting, but I'll learn as I go. Mateusz Gamrot. Yeah, like we're learning here. I'm trying to learn from Bunny how to advertise, frankly, but I'm getting there. But Gamrot, when he goes to his wrestling, I think that he's very, very difficult to beat. Absolutely trust the process. Don't worry, we are completely trusting the process here. It is going beautifully. Like this is exactly why. I'm glad I was encouraged to start my own thing here because it's been exceeding my expectations. But against Scott Holtzman, once he went to the grappling, once he went to the wrestling and everything, that was definitely when the tide completely turned and got the ground and pound finish in round 2. I just think standing with Jeremy Stephens is the only way you lose to Jeremy Stephens. And Jeremy Stephens now 35, almost 36 years old. I just think Matus, this is his time now. Matus, Polish power, fighting out of American top team, 30 years old, entering that prime. He's a legit 155er. I think Stephens at this point is 155 to not have to worry about weight misses at 145. So always has the power with the striking, but I got to go with Gamrot here to use his grappling game. I would like to see a finish out of Gamrot. I think that'd be a huge statement if he can get that submission win or a ground and pound. I'm not so sure if he can or not, but I'll take Gamrot here. I really don't know how. I guess I'll say decision. But
yeah, man. Gamrot, like as long as he, and it's a tricky thing because you've seen like people who dominate with their grappling kind of fall in love with their striking, and that's okay to fall in love with striking. It's okay to explore that, just not against Jeremy Stephens right now. You know what I'm saying? Right now, it's like you have a clear path to victory. Take this man down and keep him on his back. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just. Unless you are like a real legit killer on the feet, like someone like Jose Aldo, you know what I'm saying? Standing with Jeremy Stephens, even Emmett, like he put Emmett to sleep, and Emmett's a terrifying.
That was a quasi-illegal knee that put Emmett to sleep. But either way, Emmett should have went into that fight and had wrestling shoes on. And instead, he decided to box with him, and it's just like, Emmett, your wrestling is world class. The only way Jeremy beats you is where he beat you. And this is Gamrot fighting out of American top team. I think he saw in the last fight, like, my grappling, my takedowns are world class. That's why I was a double champ in KSW. I just think wrestle, tire him out. It's got to. Gamrot is just levels above Jeremy Stephens.
People like Gamrot is why one of the main reasons Jeremy Stephens is here. Like, he's here to kind of like be a stepping stone. You know what I'm saying? To be like, that's how he can have a losing record in the UFC, because Jeremy Stephens is good. He only fights really, really good people, and he's kind of a test. It's like, if you beat Jeremy Stephens, all right, you're the real deal. Is that, and I think Gamrot, I'm picking him to be the real deal. I got him by decision as well, assuming, and granted, he could shock us both and put it on Jeremy Stephens on the feet because his striking isn't bad. It just doesn't seem like a risk worth taking. You know what I'm saying?
It's not the fight to find that out in. Got Gamrot minus 225. I thought that was 325 minus 225. I think that's a parlayable piece for me. I think probably decision you can get plus money. The odds are not out at that. Gamrot's only loss coming to Guram, a fight that I believe he won. The reason he lost the fight to Guram is because he went to his wrestling way too late. He went to his wrestling at the end of the second round, and then the third round used it all day. I think he learned from that, used it much earlier in the Scott Oldsman fight. I think he's going to use it even earlier here in the Jeremy Stephens fight. As someone who's betting on him, that's why I sure hope at minus 225. I'm okay with the odds. I think it's a fair line and a parlayable piece at minus 225. So we are, even with Taylor coming in here and everything, we're still rolling, man. I swear, when these ladies come on, we like step up our game. We're like succinct, be right to the information, because we're killing it, man. I really like the pace we're going at. I think that we're covering these fights.
Yeah, we're almost done. That's crazy.
Co-main event time. It's only 11 fights. We've been doing like 14 fight cards, which it's only 3 more. Am I not supposed to use the L word? Is that like offensive to call you guys ladies? I don't know, but either way,
it means it in the best way possible.
Yeah, we accept all here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you make me better, Bunny. We all know this. This channel wouldn't exist if it wasn't for you. Preach, Brian. Thank you. You're much better wingman on air than Brandon ever was. Brandon on air. Brandon on air when he's like. Here's the comment that's just gonna stay up for the rest of the time. But Marion Renault, speaking of boobs, Marion Renault told Tate. I'm 12.
Oh yeah.
I am
Oh
12.
yeah. Yeah, then I'm
Misha,
12 and a half because I'm right there
dude,
with you.
Misha Tate
And that
making
makes
a
Bunny.
return.
That makes Bunny 13 because she started it.
Exactly. Yeah, no, Bunny's definitely the most mature of us. But not saying much. That's very low bar. Misha Cupcake Tate making her return after, I believe, 1,600 days off or something. And just like, God, we really need to get her a big clock because she's just fucking Flava Flav and like bunny formation here. She's the hype woman of all hype women. But yeah, Misha Tate's been off for about 5 years. She's still only 34 years old. So I was surprised right there right away. I thought she was going to be like 39 or something. Taking on the 44-year-old gym teacher who already said she's retiring at the end of this fight, whose daughter is in her corner. That's how old Marion Renault is, but all good. We're starting with Misha Tate. She's in the blue corner. 18-7 record. I have not picked her fights great before, but that was about 5 years ago. Last time I had to pick one of her fights. 34 years old now. She is on that 2-fight losing streak. Having the fights come against Amanda Nunes, which Amanda Nunes just blew the doors off of Misha. Blew the doors off of her at UFC 2. Was that UFC 200? Yeah, UFC 200 with the yellow octagon. She
Their
just
main event.
Yeah, and Misha Tate, the only champion who's still a champion from the last time Misha Tate fought is Amanda Nunes. The other champions are all different. So that's pretty cool. Followed that up by just getting outclassed by Raquel Pennington. I think at this point in Misha Tate's career, she was clearly not fully invested in the MMA game. So at 29 years old, she stepped away from the game and went over to ONE FC, was like a regional representative over at ONE FC and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, she's like, I'm coming back, going to the UFC. She's married to Johnny Nunes, a guy who's fought in the UFC a couple times, but like, it's just kind of out of nowhere. But I mean, she's been putting on Instagram how in shape she is. Frankly, I've been watching the striking on Instagram, and no, you're not supposed to really judge from Instagram, but very not impressed by the striking I've seen on Instagram so far. Like, it looks like she's going maybe 3% though. So like, I'm not going to judge that too hard. Physically, she does look like she's in good condition. She's got wins over Holly. Has that win over Holly Holm, although Holly Holm was winning all of that fight up until the 5th round. I mean, literally, Holly Holm won the first 4 rounds. But I mean, Misha doesn't give up. But this is only a 3-round fight. Had some decent decisions. Lost to Ronda Rousey, Kat Zingano, Ronda Rousey. So most of her losses are to pre-top opponents here. Marion Renault, I would not describe as a top opponent at all. 9-7-1 is the record of Marion Renault, the 44-year-old gym teacher. I pick her fights pretty well for the most part. So that's good. She's on a 3-fight losing streak? 4-fight losing streak. Sorry. 4-fight losing streak to Kat Zingano, Yana Kunitskaya, Raquel Pennington as well, Macy Chazon. The good thing I can say is she's tough. Wasn't finishing any of those, but honestly, we saw Kunitskaya looked last week against Irene Aldana. And just overall, so far in her run, not great. Kat Zingano, not kind of fallen off a cliff. Raquel Pennington's okay, but not amazing. Macy Chizon is big. I don't really know how I can't go with Misha Tate in this spot here. It seems like it's sure being set up for Misha Tate to come back with a victory. She's got a 10-year age advantage on her opponent. Injuries maybe were a reason why she stepped away. She's had 5 years to kind of recover. She's still only 34 years old. Has really good experience here. I think that Misha takedown, rinse and repeat. Maybe possibly getting a finish later on, but honestly, Marion's so tough. Like, I don't think she's ever been finished in any of her losses. I mean, she's lost to some good girls too, but never been finished. So it's hard for me to pick a finish here. I got Tate by decision.
Wow, she really beat Jessica Andrade? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I missed that. But,
At 135. When Andrade was at 135, though.
Oh, okay. All right. So that was a couple weight classes ago.
Yeah, it's like before the smaller weight classes existed for Andrade.
Well, and that's the crazy thing about females MMA has really come a long way in these like past 5 years because
So fast.
yeah, like so fast. Cause, yeah, looking at Misha Tate's record from back in the day, like it's I mean it's still impressive, but it's like you see like how some of these chicks are doing now, like Amanda Nunes, you know what I'm saying? Shevchenko, you know what I'm saying? Like the level in women's MMA is just constantly getting better. It's really impressive. Seeing that just kind of reminded me of that. But with all that being said, Miesha Tate, she's younger, has more experience. There's they're giving her this fight so she can have a successful comeback fight. I mean, you can't not pick Miesha Tate in this fight. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, I got Miesha Tate by submission. I think she'll be the first person to submit this chick. Even though she hasn't been fighting, she's still been really close to the fight scene. So I do think she's been training and working on the game this entire time. So we'll see if she shows anything new. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Miesha Tate by submission.
Yeah, no, it's a bold call for sure. But I'm not mad at it. Would be a way to retire Marion Renault for sure. Bunny is gassed here. Yes, it's not that crazy. But yeah, I do got the decision. I can't. I'm not going to take Marion. She hasn't been finished by some really tough girls in her career. I think that she has the toughness, the will to get the one more to it. So yeah, minus 150 on Miesha Tate. Is this a trap? Is this the trap bet? Is this the trap line of the night? Because minus 150 seems too good to be true. I know she's been off for 5 years. I understand that. But she's facing a 44-year-old gym teacher who's on a 4-fight losing streak.
Dude,
who's already announced she's retiring.
These odds are wild, man. Well, maybe since this is her last fight, this will be her best showing. Maybe she's saving the best for last. Maybe she'll show us something.
Yeah, I am really shocked by those odds that they're not heavier. Minus 150. Miesha Tate's going to go in a few of my parlays. She's not going to go in all of them because she's been off for 5 years, but she's going in a few, man. At minus 150, I can skyrocket some of these. So I'm going to take the shot there. I got Tate by decision. Dude, we're to the main event. I don't know how with an interview in between and everything. Why? I mean, it's just what she is. She is a gym teacher. Like, she has school on Monday. Or maybe not. Maybe summer school.
Aaron, you got some beef with gym teachers. You got some traumatic childhood experience with the gym teacher.
Mr. Cooley making me do suicides, motherfucker. Asshole. Rest in peace, Mr. Cooley.
R.I.P. Mr. Cooley.
Yeah, but dude, he was an asshole. Never, always cut me in the first round of cuts. But anyways, I'm totally over it. I'm totally over it. Sports were great. Sports were great till tryouts happened. Anyways, I mean,
besides the point, man.
Yeah.
I would have picked you on my team.
Fine. Thanks, man. I would have talked so much shit. My
That's
God.
What I'm talking about. You need someone like that. You need someone talking
heads.
shit because then it makes everyone that gets mad at the guy talking shit, but then you have to go harder so that you don't get your ass kicked.
What do you think my role has been my whole life? Come on. That's why people like you can kick ass. You can save me when I need help.
There we go.
Thank you. We got the main event. We got the main event here. Islam Makhachev taking on Thiago Moises. 5 rounds here at 155. Obviously, originally Max Holloway was supposed to take on Yair Rodriguez. Max Holloway got injured, unfortunately. But this is a good fight still. Very solid fight. I get it. Doesn't quite have the razzle-dazzle, but one of these guys after this fight is going to take that step into relevancy, I think. 3-fight win streak for Thiago Moises over Michael Johnson, Bobby Green, and Alexander Hernandez. Prior to that, had gone 2-1 or 1-2 to start his career, losing to Beneil Dariush and Damir Ismagulov. Damir Ismagulov, one of these guys that is really, really, really good. honestly, like, I don't think a lot of people know about Damir Ismagulov yet, but they will if he can fight a little more regularly. And then Beneil Dariush, we all know how good he is. Besides that, has looked pretty solid. I think that his striking has really improved fight to fight, mainly. His Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, everybody should know. And it's just like he's taking a shot here. He took the spot that no one wants. Islam has been very openly talking about how everybody's been turning him down. I do believe that people have been turning him down. And Thiago Moises, talking ahead of this fight, said he's very aware of taking a fight with Islam here. An unranked lightweight is worth 4 unranked lightweight wins against anybody else. So this is really Thiago trying to take his shot to get into that top 15 a little bit quicker. He's got wins over Bobby Green. He's got wins over Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson was winning the fight till he got the ankle lock. But, I mean, he's shown in several fights he can come back from adversity. And I think that's a huge, huge skill here. I think that Moises has some of these skills that are going to be required to eventually beat Islam, and that's a good ground game, good takedown defense, and decent to good striking. And Thiago has all that. So with that being said, I just think that we know what we're getting with Islam Makhachev, I think, for the most part. He is Khabib with a little more emphasis on position and a little less emphasis on ground and pound. But his position and control on his last fight against Drew Dober was very impressive, pretty suffocating and undeniable, frankly. And he had the one slip up against Adrian Martins where he was just caught cleanly. But since the Martins loss, Chris Wade decision, Lentz decision, knocked out Gleison Tebow, got an armbar finish of Cajun Johnson. Impressive win over Armin Tarzukian, but Tarzukian took the fight on very short notice. So there's that, and he did struggle at times. Davi Ramos, he did very well against, and then the arm triangle to finish against Drew Dober. But it's a lot of position, and I think that I get it that all Dagestanis say jiu-jitsu doesn't work against them, but jiu-jitsu does work against everybody if it's used properly. And I think that if Islam has to maybe hesitate or delay the takedowns here and it turns into a stand-up war, it becomes anybody's fight. We have not seen Islam in a 5-round fight either. So, but we anticipate that he should be able to go 5 rounds and have that kind of gas. But Thiago has had 5-round experience in title fights outside of the UFC. And he is the more well-rounded guy, better stand-up. And his jiu-jitsu could give him problems on the ground. That being said, I just don't have the balls to do it. I'm going to go with Islam here. But I don't think Islam gets the finish, and I think this could get very dicey. I think this price is way out of line here as well. Minus 700 on Islam is insane to me. What are your thoughts on this main event?
Oh, man. Dude, Thiago, like I said at the beginning of the show, like, this is a guy that's I feel like is under the radar, and I say that because he flew under my own radar. I feel like I know way more fighters than the average MMA fan. I did not know who Thiago was before, I started looking up people for this breakdown. But, guy is super impressive. Like you said, very well-rounded, he's able to finish you from anywhere. He's not necessarily a one-hitter quitter on the feet, but he's got heavy hands, you know what I'm saying? When he throws with nasty intentions, and his like you said, his overall grappling game is better than Islam's, but there is a massive and this just to go to show how good Islam's wrestling is.
Yeah, look at these wrestling stats. Third best control percentage time at 48%. Second best top percentage time at 41%. Least amount of strikes absorbed in the lightweight division at 0.76 because you can't punch him because he's always on you, taking you down. Best takedown accuracy. Brandon killing it with these stats. You're always paying for him because he's associated with Khabib. Minus 400, minus 400, minus 650, minus 620. But he's winning all these fights as well. So
And the thing is like what is really interesting. Like what's cool about MMA now is because at one point in time I hear that number one bullshit, brother, number one bullshit. But anyways,
Buggers.
wrestlers wrestlers used to be able to like dominate MMA, and it
Right.
wasn't really that hard. But now you can see like the takedown defense and the scram, the get up ability of these fighters is kind of evening that out. You know what I'm saying? So that strikers can implement their game plan and not have to worry about being on their backs the whole time. But there is like another level of grappling where like you have to like dedicate your whole game to just being a disgusting MMA wrestler, you know what I'm saying? And Islam is one of those guys, and it's just that's like not the guy you want to fight if you're an MMA fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, everybody's turning him down for a reason.
There's a reason, man. Like this guy is, anytime someone can grapple like this guy can, it is a pain in the ass because they don't leave you alone. You know what I'm saying? You could defend the first one. You're like, all right, nice. You can defend the second one. You can defend the third one. But no matter how many you defend, he's still going to keep on coming after you. So, yeah, it's really, it's kind of lame that he's such a massive favorite. But, I'm rooting for Thiago on this one. Thiago, he seems like a really fun person to watch fight. But it's hard. You always want to see, the major underdogs win. But there's a reason he's a major underdog. I mean, Islam is just a absolute wrestling grind.
I do think this line's a little out of whack though.
I agree. And I think the fight's much closer.
Yeah, it's like, especially when we're anticipating a 1 or 2 rounds for Thiago to win. A 49, 46, a 48, 47. He's a minus 700. We shouldn't be seeing any rounds won. And I think there is a question here. I think the jiu-jitsu is a major factor here. I think Thiago Moises has a very good mental approach to this game. He's been anticipating seeing Khabib in the corner of Islam and how that could have an intimidating effect. He's really thought about before just jumping into this fight. I think the 5 rounds, we have not seen on Islam's end. There's some X factors here. I'm not going to be betting this fight. I can just sit back, and I am also rooting for Thiago. I really just like stepping up here. I like his overall game. I liked him on the Contender Series. I just feel like he's starting to get it going, and he's only 26 years old. I mean, that's the other thing people forget. I just think that, this should be and we talked about the Sarukian win, Brandon, but Sarukian took that fight on 3 days' notice. It was a great fight, but Sarukian didn't have a lot of notice for it. And I think Sarukian also, he got him very early in his career, and Sarukian's gotten much better since that fight. So Islam also has, but yeah, I'll take Islam here. I just think rinse repeat uses position and wins a decision most likely. I have a hard time seeing him submitting Moises, and he doesn't really use ground and pound. So yeah, we got the heavy favorite here in Islam minus 700. You can have the comeback here on Moises at plus 450. We'll just go right back through our fights real quick, and then I'll give my kind of favorite 3 parlay of the night. I have Naciamento, you have Naciamento. We both have Francisco Figuereto. We're both on Miles Johns tentatively. Finally, a split of the night. We got Sergey Morozov for me. You've got Khalid Taha. We're both on Lemos. I've got Daniel Rodriguez. You've got Preston Parsons. Both on Gabriel Benitez. Both on Dustin Stolfus, which is our dog of the night. Both on Gamrot. Both on Tate, and both on Moises. We only have 2 disagreements this week.
Wow.
That's crazy. It's one of our smallest. Thank you very much, Brandon. Great job to you, my brother. I mean, these stats, I don't know how you're doing it, but it significantly adds to, I think, both the viewers and our overall show here. So thank you, honestly, for being engaged the whole time to the way you were, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to Bunny, of course. My 3 parlay of the night, which I'll add up here real quick. Give me some Naciamento. Why not? Give me. Actually, these 3 won't even pay me very well, but Naciamento, It's okay. Like, I want to get it right. Naciamento, Lemos, and Naciamento, Lemos, Gamarot is my parlay. I suggest gets you to even money plus 120. Those three are coming in. Thank you, Brandon, for working. Please, it's okay. Actually, don't work on your wingman skills. That's just fine what you're doing. Brandon, claps for you for the stats. None for us, of course. No, I'm kidding. Here's our shine. You guys are killing it. Good. Give me attention, please. I've only been on screen for 3 hours today. But back up a little, Brian, for a second, because we are back to full screen here. This is I think this is a good card. We haven't agreed quite to 9 out of 11 fights to this extent yet, but I think it's a good indication that we can maybe make some moves and get some plays here. There is going to be a dog or two who comes up. Is it going to be Moises? Perhaps. Dustin Stolfus is the dog that we seem to really be both on. I'm also on Miraz as a dog as well. Anything you guys say? What's going on with Tough? Where are we at with that?
Well, Tough is at a big moment right now. Make sure you tune in. This Tuesday is the last fight of the semifinals, so this will be the last fight before we get into the 4 final fights before the finale. So after this fight, you'll get to see all the new matchups. You'll get to see, people like your boy Pooh Bear come back around. People Ricky Tercios coming back around. Brady Highstead coming back around. I don't know any of those other guys on Team Ortega. You know what I'm saying?
Team Vault just needed you to show them how to win before they could start winning. I see how it is.
Sometimes the last picks got to come through and show everybody what's happening.
But either way, it's been a pleasure. Catch up on Tough if you haven't caught up. This fight this last week was one of the best fights of the season. So far, at least, for sure.
That fight was nuts.
That was really. That's why we watched Tough. But 3 hours into breakdowns today. Aaron, the dog, is dog tired. For Aaron, the dog, for Pooh Bear, Bryan Pooh Bear Battle, for Brandon of MMA Wagers, for Bunny of Boston Comments, so everybody else who joined us. Seriously, thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Taylor, for making the time to come on and be a goddamn star. This is not the last time she will be on here. It is not the first time. It's been a good show. Hope everybody has a great night. Enjoy the Bellator LFA cards tomorrow. Both those breakdowns are on this channel right now. Go check those out. And then we got an LFA on Sunday that I will be releasing a breakdown for tomorrow or Saturday, depending on my timing, but probably tomorrow. But for Aaron the dog, for Bryan Pooh Bear Battle, everybody else, keep taking care of each other out there and make that money. Peace out.